All right, so I think this is sharing correctly. Just want to double check. Let's see if I can bring this on over here. Okay, so this is the Facebook Auto Insurance Consumer Journey Report that we recently did an in-depth 4-part video series on this bad boy. It's an 18-page report, and I'd be happy to share it with you guys. I will, if you drop your email in the comments, I will get this out to you. But we did a 4-part video series breaking down each of these 4 parts in detail a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it's been a couple of months. But I wanted just to share a condensed version of that. I feel like it's a really great tool that you guys can use. It really gives you some insight. Facebook did a really great job with this. It was a joint venture with Comscore, which is a marketing consumer data company. And they basically looked at the metrics of what role social media plays in the consumer journey, the consumers of today, particularly those that are responding to Facebook ad campaigns. So some of you may have run Facebook ad campaigns and not had success. Some of you have had great success with Facebook ad campaigns. But nonetheless, this is the type of information that you really have to understand if you're going to be successful as a marketer, specifically in the insurance industry, utilizing Facebook. So let's just go ahead and jump into this page or this report and dive right in. I want this to be a quick version of it here. Just kind of some introduction. So this is a really powerful section that we spent some time on. This is the shopping window, all right, among Facebook auto insurance buyers. So people who bought insurance from Facebook, okay? So the survey suggests that shopping for auto insurance buyers can be short-term, can be a short one. Buyer shopping window ranges from less than a week to up to 60 days. 30% of respondents reported that they made a buying decision within 24 hours. In the first day, 30% of people are purchasing. That's massive. That shows us that the buyers from Facebook are extremely active. They're very motivated and they make quick decisions, guys. So the most difficult part about being successful with Facebook ad campaigns is getting a hold of the people. But you can rest assured that if you do not, these people are buying insurance. Now, this doesn't necessarily say that they bought from the person whose ad they responded to. It just says that they bought insurance. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in just a second. The survey indicates that advertising influences consumers as they move along the shopping journey. Almost half, 49% of the respondents recalled seeing or hearing the auto insurance ads reported that the ads help them discover new insurance brands, and 44% encountered ads that caused them to consider an alternative insurance provider. Here's where I want to direct your attention, okay? So 1 day or less, you've got more than 1 day, but so between the first week, you've got 84% of people are purchasing insurance in that first week. And then you've got between 1 and 2 weeks, you've got another 24%, 2 to 4 weeks, you've got 10%, and then you can see 3 and 3. So very few people are purchasing after that 4-week window. So it's really critical within that first 7 days that you're making contact and you're closing business. All right. What you'll see is later on, they talk about what the insurance consumers are doing after they respond to an ad. 18 minutes is how much they spend doing research after they respond to an ad on Facebook. So you've got about an 18-minute window to have some sort of automated system that reaches out to them, schedules an appointment, or you get them on the phone because they spend the next 18 minutes poking around looking at insurance. And here's the thing that you have to consider with Facebook ad campaigns. It's a disruptive type of marketing. All right, these aren't people who were going on. They didn't go on Facebook to look for insurance, right? So whereas you've got Google, you've got people who are searching, they are interested in, they are seeking out your product and service, right? It's not a disruption to their experience. When you advertise on Facebook, you're disrupting their newsfeed experience because they fit a demographic profile that you've indicated to Facebook. Hey, I want these people to see my ad campaign. And what happens is a lot of times if you've got a good ad copy that matches up and is in synchronicity with the targeting and it resonates with that audience, although you've disrupted their experience, you get them to go ahead and click and fill out a form, all right? Well, from there, that's where you've pulled them into the market. You've now made somebody who wasn't otherwise shopping for insurance, you've now got them interested in shopping in insurance. And if you don't have, and what most people fail to do is have anything on the other end of that button, when they click shop now, get quote, learn more, that's where a lot of the breakdown is happening. You get them to fill out a form and then you send them to nothing. They get a confirmation page, and then maybe hours later you call, maybe a day or two later you call. They're not getting any sort of a quote. And most consumers, if you think about how a consumer operates, when they fill out a form, they think they're getting a quote. If you've structured your ad correctly, they've said, okay, yeah, I want a quote. And if they fill out a form and then all that happens is thank you, we'll contact you soon, those are the people that are bouncing off of Facebook and saying, well, now that I'm here and I've taken time to do this, let me go find an insurance quote now that I'm interested, right? And that's where we see a big gap and a huge opportunity for people who are marketing on Facebook to increase their conversions. And that's where, things like our CRM, if you go to sellingwithsean.com/CRM, you can get a fully built out and customized CRM that'll help you put those automated systems and processes in place to get a hold of those people right away. Again, if you just put your email in the comments, I will go ahead and send you this entire report so you can really dive into it. But this is the shopping journey, okay? And to be an effective marketer, you have to really understand who your customer is, and then you have to understand and see the ad campaign, see the journey from their perspective. And oftentimes that's really difficult as an insurance agent to remember what it was like to be an insurance consumer. This was particularly difficult for me because I started in the insurance world at 20 years old. So I hadn't really even purchased insurance aside from myself. I think I was on my mom's policy, and then I went to the military and got out of the military and, became an insurance agent. So there wasn't a whole lot of consumerism that I had experience with. And then those of you who, maybe got into the insurance business later in life, you've been in the insurance business for a while, but you've forgotten what it's like to go and shop for insurance. And the more in tune that you can become with this journey and the consumer's mindset and be able to see the entire process from their perspective, the more effective you're going to be able to create your process, and the more effective you're going to build your systems around that ad campaign. But it starts with reactive observance. The journey begins casually. People start to learn about insurance offerings and different brands. At this stage, ads can influence which brands they will consider. Stage 2 is a need or a trigger moment. Life happens. Key events move people closer to buying. Possible triggers include policy rewards, better prices, recent auto purchases, and life events such as moving, engaging in new jobs. This is critical. This stage 2 is critical. So what we do is we help people create the perfect customer. First, you got to know who they are. You got to know what motivates them, right? So you got to build a trigger. Once you understand who the perfect customer is, demographically speaking, age, gender, geography, job titles, things like this, you say, okay, here's who I'm talking to. Then the next thing is you got to answer the question for the customer. Why would I need to talk to you? Why do they need to talk to you? What about their life or what's going on in their world that makes them need or want to talk to you? And there's 2 types of triggers that I'll add here. You've got the natural triggers, as I call them, things that are happening in life, things like the new jobs, the engagements, the buying a house, the buying a car. These are things that are happening naturally in their life that are just natural events that make them need or want to talk to insurance, right? Like if they're buying a home, they need to get an insurance quote to finish that transaction. An engagement or job doesn't necessarily mean they need to, but it's an event where they might want to, right? But then if nothing is going on with a natural trigger, then the next thing that we can do is we can create a trigger, right? And that's where you have things like the policy renewals. You've got, you got to give them some new information, right? Because everything's sort of stagnant in their world. They think they're quote unquote good. I'm good right now. Well, they're only good right now because there's not anything necessarily going on that's forcing them in. But if you feed them some more information, they may no longer be good, right? If they knew that they could save an additional 20%, that might say, okay, well, no, I'm not good. I would like to see that. Or if they knew that the company that they're with just filed for an 18% rate increase, they might want to consider shopping then, right? So we introduce some new information to have them reconsider. And then you've got the proactive shopping, stage 3. Shopping shifts into fifth gear. Consumers are actively evaluating their options, increased intention to purchase in the foreseeable future. Ads at this stage can move brands up or down the buyer's preference list, and some may return to stage 1 if the trigger movement evaporates. All right, so if you wait too long, they go back to stage 1. And then stage 4 is obviously the purchase. Price is a high priority. We all know that. So what we have to do is really refine our sales process to get that conversation away from price. That's a whole nother presentation, but we would love to talk with you about that. We've got a lot of training on how to get the conversation away from price. And Facebook is one of the best platforms to do that, because we're able to get value-driven consumers, because we can really hone in on these events, these life events that are very much value-oriented triggers, more so than a price shopping event, right? So a lot of what we teach is how to really find the customers that are value driven, that are looking to have that value driven conversation, that aren't just price driven consumers. Your Google campaigns, your people who are searching for an insurance quote online, those are going to be your high price driven consumers. And that's okay too, because sometimes you know where you're competitive in certain zip codes and you can target in on that. But Facebook primarily, because we're really focused on the customer, we can hone in on the life events that create a less competitive situation, if you will. The effects of life events. So certain life events can be used to predict when people might be likely to begin shopping for online quotes. According to the conservation data visible to Facebook, these events in order of importance include being away from the family. This is huge. Very few people have ever run campaigns that I've seen targeting being away from family, getting engaged, having a new job, getting married, or moving. All of these, we can target these events and create campaigns around this. So not only can we target them demographically, but then we can also add in triggers and life events that are going on. Based on that event, we can structure an ad copy that will truly resonate with that customer's life at that time. And when you get the right message to the right customer at the right time, the right things happen. So what role does social media play in this? Here's where the 18 minutes comes in. So you've got 18 minutes of time being spent on auto insurance research right after they respond to an ad. That's why it's so critical to get them on the phone immediately. 25% of respondents had at least one social interaction while shopping for auto insurance. That's huge, guys. Generally speaking, online, not just on Facebook, but online, 1 in 4 had interactions on Facebook while shopping for insurance. All online traffic, not just Facebook traffic. That is a massive, massive statistic that shows you just how important social media is in this process, which is also why you can't just rely on Facebook, but you need to be hitting people as they move off of the Facebook platform, using the Facebook pixel and retargeting campaigns. Very, very critical to be following those people on other platforms like Google, Androids, the iTunes Store, to their Gmail account, push notifications, and YouTube videos as well. 83% of respondents 82% of respondents say they visit Facebook at least once. Facebook and ComScore findings are very compelling. 13% of respondents recalled seeing an auto insurance ad on social media just prior to the purchase. Ad recall from Facebook is at 89%, which was particularly striking when compared to only 37% of YouTube advertising, 11% of Twitter. Guys, that's huge, because video ad recall is among the highest of any medium. And according to this research, 89% of consumers recalled Facebook ads at a much higher rate, more than double that of a YouTube video or an ad on YouTube. So that's really, really high ad recall rate. And this is why it's really important, and why we're really making a shift with our clients of getting away from that incognito paid strategy and really focusing on our branding your agency brand within those customers and within your ad campaigns, and retargeting all of your incognito ads to those with your State Farm or Allstate or Liberty Mutual branded page, or if you're independent, your agency branded page, because the ad recall rate is so high, and you can really build a top of mind brand awareness by utilizing those retargeting strategies. It's one thing to recall seeing an ad, but connecting to an ad encounter to changes in decision making is really something else, and exactly what marketers need to know when making advertising plans. Respondents were asked whether the ads they encountered altered their decision making process. 55% agreed that they discovered more auto insurance companies after seeing ads on Facebook, in part due to the incredible retargeting features that Facebook has. And 48% agreed that they considered auto insurance companies after seeing ads on Facebook. That's huge. So 50% of people are saying that the ads they saw on Facebook influenced their purchasing decision. Really understanding your audience. Guys, this is a really, really powerful page. Again, if you want this, just pop your email in the comments. I'll send this over to you. But people shop for insurance for many reasons, but the most common of these is their policy is up for renewal, they're buying a new car, or they hope to find a better price. 73% of Facebook and Comscore study survey respondents reported that insurance benefits as their top insurance trigger shop for insurance, including for the following reasons. Policy renewals, 40%. That's huge. So X date, retargeting is huge. If you've got your X date list, you need to be running ads to those people every month on Facebook. Right now, you should be running an ad campaign to everybody who you know has a policy renewal in the month of May, or even May and June, and running those together. We've got some really good ad campaigns for policy renewal ads. You can get those at the Ad Vault. Sean Mathis, sellingwithsean.com/the Ad Vault. Tons and tons of ad copy that you can get there. Wanting a better price, a third of people want a better price, obviously. Not happy with their provider, being able to target interest levels, like people who are interested in other insurance companies that you know you're competitive with. Great thing on Google when you're running Google ads is you can actually target people who have visited your competitors' websites or who are shopping your competitors' rates when you know you're better than them. Wanting better coverage and wanting to bundle service. This is really upsetting that only 12% want better coverage and 11% want to bundle service. This, I believe, is really misrepresentation of what the customers truly want. This is what customers respond to in a survey. They don't truly. I think it's a much higher rate than 12%. The problem is most customers don't have any value-driven conversations. They don't have any idea about coverage, which is why it's not important. So that statistic to me shows a massive area of opportunity for agents who will have the good conversations. And if you'll target people based on life events and not the price triggers, you'll be able to have a huge opportunity to really get them to shift away from price and start valuing coverage much more than they would have prior to. The 4 buyer profiles, all right? You've got the millennials. 33% of respondents are millennials. You have to understand this is a critical demographic right now. It's the largest consumer demographic on the planet, and they have the most buying power of any consumer group on the planet. Baby boomers aren't switching insurance at the rates that they once did. They're getting older. They're planning for retirement, or worse yet, death, depending on how old they are. But millennials are starting the new jobs. They're getting their careers. They're buying their houses. They're having babies, or getting divorced even. Those are great people to target as well, because obviously they got to get something in place. But you really need to understand that the millennial group, you can have a whole presentation on the millennials by themselves. You've got the loyalists, 55% of respondents, higher income, credit scores, less research focused, less likely to consider providers after noticing ads. They care about customer service. 29% purchase online via computer. Their triggers are renewals followed by auto purchase. So if you want the loyalists, you want the high income earners, these are the triggers that you need to be targeting. Again, renewals and people who are purchasing cars. These are great ways to set your ad campaigns up by knowing your customers. The switchers, 37% are switchers. They're motivated by price above all. And there's many different touch points to research on the loyalist. And then the heavy mobile users, 39% of the respondents were heavy mobile, tend to be younger, lower income and credit scores, 44% switch providers. So you're going to have good churn rate. You're going to get quick decision makers, but they're not going to be loyal. You've got recent car purchases, number one, and lowering the price, which is their number two trigger. So hopefully that really helps you guys out, really understand this. Again, drop your email in the comments and I will get this over to you. And we've also got a more in-depth with examples from our programs of how we introduce this information. But if you want the longer 4-part series, just holler at me and I will